Um, Hello. Carol and I are standing together, more or less looking at each other, standing in front of Dogme Gardens in the Education sandbox. Carol,
Morning.
you had a question.
Yes, good morning. Well, it's Dogme Gardens, and I have heard of Dogme, but I don't really understand what Dogme is or the connection between the gardens and Dogme. So, can you start by just telling me what Dogme is, please?
Yes, I would try, though that's just the meaning of dogma has been discussed for about the last 10 years, because it's 10 years ago that the dogma list was started. And so there are almost as many different opinions, definitions of what dogma is as there are members, which is a few hundred. But my view of dogma is that it's a label, a name, attached to a list which contains a lot of people who have a particular attitude towards the teaching of English as a foreign language. And this aim is characterized by their believing that there should be virtually no use of textbooks. It's called textbook light. And one of the key principles is that all of the learning and therefore the teaching that goes on should be centered on the students, the learners, and what they need and what they want in language terms. How about that?
That makes sense to me, except I have heard of that before, and I'm still puzzled about how one teacher can take over from another teacher if they're working towards an exam syllabus or something like that, and nobody knows exactly what anybody's done, or is it the way it's recorded that makes it all completely clear?
Well, no, I think that the genuine answer to that is because dogmists tend to be rather idealistic people who are fighting for their belief in how languages are learnt and aren't learnt. That once again, in my view, I stress, they've often not considered practical issues like that of language being taught in real schools with examination systems and demands from headmasters and directors of studies and so on. They can come up with answers to that, but it doesn't occur to them at first.
Maybe is it more aimed at the adult learner than school learners?
Well, I think it's probably true that most people, or many people who have tried or believe in this approach, find themselves teaching in private schools and institutions, or one-to-one, and very many of them with adults. Yeah, I think that's a fair comment.
Okay, that makes sense. Right, so this is Dogme Gardens, and how does Dogme Gardens fit in then? We've got what seems to me a pretty high-tech level of commitment here, and yet we're on the low-tech teaching method. So
Yes.
you've built
Well,
Dogme Gardens, have you?
well, as you well know, you built at least half of it, if not more. No. I built it with colossal assistance from Carol, otherwise it would never exist. Yes, and I'm a bit of a crossover character, I suppose. I believe rather passionately, I find, in Second Life, or at least the possibilities that exist in Second Life for language teaching and learning, foreign language teaching and learning, though they may not have been discovered yet, but I believe they're there to be discovered. But I'm also have been a passionate member of the Dogme group since the very beginning, almost the beginning.